What if you could walk through life entirely unshaken? No insult, no setback, no chaotic event could ever touch you again? Stay until the very end of this video, because I'm going to share a profound shift in perspective that Carl Jung believed could free you from the grip of external forces forever. By the end, you'll discover a method to ensure that nobody and nothing will affect you again, and it might just revolutionize the way you experience reality. There's a reason some people glide through chaos as if it's just a mild breeze. They don't see chaos as a threat. They've reached a place where external triggers lose their power. Meanwhile, most of us get tossed around by every slight inconvenience. Traffic cuts us off, and we erupt in rage. A stranger frowns at us, and we spiral into doubt. A coworker's offhand comment can ruin our entire day. We think these are normal responses, but are they really? Or have we simply normalized being controlled by forces we don't even see? Carl Jung, the renowned Swiss psychiatrist, believed that these reactions are not caused by the world itself. Rather, the world mirrors back our own unresolved issues. Think of your worst emotional trigger. Maybe it's a fear of being judged, or a deep need for validation. Whenever someone or something pushes that button, the emotional explosion you feel isn't coming from them. It's coming from you. They merely highlight what already lives within your subconscious. If you had no internal wound, you wouldn't bleed when pricked. Imagine you're standing before a mirror. If your reflection frowns, you don't blame the mirror. You understand it's just reflecting your own expression. Life is exactly like that mirror. When something makes you angry or anxious, it's really showing you a piece of yourself you haven't come to terms with. But instead of investigating that piece, we usually get lost in blaming the reflection. This is the crux of what Jung meant by the unconscious shaping our fate. As long as we remain unaware of our inner triggers, the outer world will keep hitting those triggers, and we'll keep calling it bad luck or unfairness. Suppose someone calls you stupid. If you are deeply secure in your intelligence, you might shrug it off, or even find it amusing. But if there's a secret part of you that worries you might indeed be inadequate, that insult becomes a dagger. A friend ignores your text. One person might assume the friend is busy and move on without a second thought. Another might feel waves of insecurity, convinced they've done something wrong. The external event is the same, but the internal interpretation is wildly different. This difference stems from your internal landscape. Where you are whole, you are unassailable. Where you are wounded, you are vulnerable. Carl Jung introduced the concept of the shadow, the part of our psyche we hide, repress, or deny. It's filled with traits we consider unacceptable: fears, envies, resentments. The world triggers these hidden elements and we feel blindsided. In reality, the trigger is just a signpost pointing to a shadow element we haven't integrated. If you're perpetually upset by criticisms about your looks, it might be because you're deeply insecure about your appearance. If you constantly fear being abandoned, perhaps your childhood experiences of neglect are still festering, unacknowledged. Until you face these shadows, external events will keep controlling you. Most of us cling to the illusion that if we can just manage our surroundings, make people like us, force outcomes to align with our wishes, we'll find peace. This is a trap. The more you try to control the outside world, the more you enslave yourself to it. 1. Needing approval. If your sense of self-worth hinges on others' praise, they control your emotional state. A single word of disapproval can crush you. 2. Obsessing over outcomes. If you demand that life must follow a specific script, any deviation triggers anxiety or despair. You become a prisoner of expectations. 3. Blaming circumstances. If you see every setback as the universe conspiring against you, you give away your power. You remain in victim mode, never realizing that your reaction is the real issue. Paradoxically, when you let go of the need for external validation or specific outcomes, you often get them effortlessly. It's as though the universe yields to those who aren't desperately grasping. This principle shows up in psychology. Anxious attachment to results often sabotages success. Meanwhile, Calm detachment fosters creativity, resilience, and magnetism. Notice how people who desperately want love can't seem to find it, while those who are content on their own radiate confidence and easily attract partners. Or how those who cling to money with fear often lose it in risky gambles, while those who see money as a tool, not a lifeline, end up multiplying it with relative ease. Now we arrive at the heart of the matter. How do we transform ourselves so that no one and nothing can disturb our inner peace? 1. Radical self-awareness. Start noticing your triggers in real time. The moment you feel a surge of anger, jealousy, or hurt, pause. Ask yourself, what inside me is being threatened right now? Which fear or insecurity is this tapping into? Over time, this practice rewires your brain to see triggers as signals, not threats. 2. Shadow integration. Instead of running from your hidden fears, bring them to light. If you fear being called incompetent, ask yourself why. Did a parent or teacher once belittle your abilities? Are you attaching your worth to constant achievement? By exploring these roots, you weaken their hold on you. 3. Mindful detachment. This isn't about becoming numb, it's about observing emotions without letting them dictate your actions. Techniques like meditation, breath work, or journaling can help you develop a gap between stimulus and response. In that gap lies your power to choose how to feel and act. 4. Cognitive reframing. If you're faced with an insult, reframe it as a reflection of the insulter's inner world, not yours. If you fail at something, see it as data, information that can guide your improvement rather than proof of your unworthiness. Each reframe pulls you further away from being a puppet of external forces. 5. Value internal growth over external approval. Shift your focus from "what do people think of me" to "how can I become more resilient, more compassionate, and more authentic?" This inward orientation starves external triggers of their power. When your self-esteem is grounded in your own growth, external opinions matter far less. The neuroscience angle. Studies on neuroplasticity reveal that consistent self-awareness and reframing can alter your brain's pathways. Each time you resist an old reaction and choose a new response, you weaken the neural network of reactivity and strengthen one of calm and clarity. Over time, this leads to a stable baseline of emotional equilibrium, an unshakable core. Carl Jung once remarked that the psychological rule says that when an inner situation is not made conscious, it appears outside as fate. Emotional alchemy is the art of turning reactive lead into responsive gold. It means harnessing your triggers to discover and heal your hidden wounds. 1. Identify the trigger. Recognize the external event that causes your emotional spike. 2. Observe the emotion. Name it: anger, sadness, fear, jealousy. 3. Uncover the belief. What belief or wound is fueling this emotion? Is it "I'm not good enough"? "I'll be abandoned"? "I need to be perfect"? 4. Challenge the belief. Ask, is this belief objectively true, or is it a relic of my past conditioning? 5. Release the energy. Through breath work or even simple awareness, let the emotional charge dissipate without acting on it. By doing this repeatedly, you dissolve the negative charge these beliefs hold. Eventually, the triggers lose their power because the underlying wound no longer exists. Picture yourself in a heated argument with someone who's hurling personal attacks. The old you would lash out or feel deeply hurt. But now, having practiced mindful detachment, you sense the wave of anger rise, and you let it pass. You see the other person's aggression as a reflection of their pain or frustration. You remain calm, perhaps even compassionate. You respond with clarity rather than fury. By the end of it, you walk away unscathed, your peace intact. This is not fantasy. People who practice this form of emotional alchemy experience profound shifts in their relationships and overall well-being. They find that arguments become rare and less explosive. Their stress levels drop. Their confidence soars because they know that no external event can derail them. They have become, in essence, untouchable. When you no longer fear emotional hijacks, you can engage with life more fully. You take risks without the dread of failure crippling you. You connect with people without the constant need for approval. You express yourself freely, unchained by the fear of judgment. This is the freedom Carl Jung hinted at, a state where the unconscious has been integrated and the external world loses its power to manipulate you. Crucial point. Being untouchable doesn't mean you're emotionless. You still feel life's highs and lows, but they pass through you without anchoring in your psyche. You can be fully present, fully alive, without being enslaved by reactivity. If you've stayed until now, here's the dramatic revelation. You already possess the power to become untouchable. It's not about changing the world or avoiding negative people. It's about transforming your relationship with yourself. The world is your mirror, reflecting back all that you are, light and shadow. Instead of waging war against the reflection, turn inward and see what needs healing, acceptance, or integration. If this script has shattered some illusions or ignited a spark of possibility within you, I encourage you to take the first step right now. Kindly like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share it with someone who might need a reminder that they are the ultimate gatekeeper of their own peace. Because the world doesn't need more people who are easily rattled. It needs more people who have discovered the deep well of calm within. Carl Jung once said, "Your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart." The greatest gift you can give yourself is the ability to walk through life free from external control, anchored in an inner core of stillness. Let this be your wake-up call. Embrace the triggers, face your shadow, and realize that no external force can break you once you reclaim the power of your own mind. Remember, you are not the puppet of the world's chaos. You are the puppeteer of your inner reality. Once you master that, nobody and nothing will ever affect you again.